Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here. Oh, and I just realized that I maybe should plug myself into my modem. Hopefully, it will connect to that in just a second. Make sure I have my mic on. I was having a little difficulty with my camera this morning, but I got it to work before we even went live, so that's a really good thing. So, I had a wonderful birthday yesterday, and thank you everyone for your birthday wishes. If you sent them to me, I got so many that I just gave up on thanking everyone because it just my little inbox got overflowed, and I wanted to enjoy my day, and I was working as well. So, but thank you everyone. And so today is Casing Tuesday, and that's the day when we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. And I really like today's sketch. I think it's got a big focal point layer. So let's take a look at the card that we're doing. There we go. So this one has three stockings on it. So that red layer could be a white layer. And I tend to tell people that um, usually your focal point layer should be white because it draws the eye in. But this layer, they did a really nice job. I think your focus tends to go right on the greeting here because it's a lighter layer, sending lots of love. But you could also make that background cherry cobbler layer your focal point and make it, you could stamp on that layer as well. So you'll see what I did on mine today. And then there's little strips of paper in the background. And so you can use your scraps, you can use three different pieces of paper. So have fun with this sketch. And here is the actual sketch, and it has dimensions on there for you. So if you need help with those dimensions, just go ahead and have a look at that. And for myself personally, I like to change them just a little bit to suit my card because I always have a slightly different vision of how I want to lay out my card depending on the stamp set I use. So use this as a guide, but you don't have to have all the layers exactly like this. It's supposed to be inspiration. Okay. So let's have a look at my card for today, and I'll show you how I built it. And I'm using a new bundle today, which I'll show you in a moment. And my bundle, I'm using the Stars Are Shining bundle. This bundle I just got recently, and I don't know why I didn't get it earlier because I think this punch, the Starlit punch, is an awesome punch that everyone should have because look at all the different types of stars in here that you can use. And so this is a really useful punch. The Stars Are Shining, this punch is carrying over into next year. I have to check to see if it's going to be available during the catalog year or if it will come back next holiday catalog. But this is good, also for stars are just good all around. The Stars Are Shining stamp set, I believe, is retiring though. But right now you can still get these guys as a bundle. So take advantage of that because you can save 10%. And then this star punch matches this stamp right here. And I'm actually not using the stamp today, but you can stamp this stamp and then it matches the punch, so you don't have to line up everything individually, so you can have a bunch of stamped stars really quickly. So you might want to pick that up if you like the Starlight punch and you want to have both of those. All right, let's have a look at my card. Here it is. And I got really busy yesterday, and then last night I kind of had a headache and I wasn't feeling 100%, so I actually went to bed early. So this morning I put this card together, and I love how it turned out. The nice thing about Casing Tuesday is that you can take a card and use it as a blueprint, and you can stamp a card really quickly. And I think maybe one thing I didn't add on this card was any bling. Like I think I'm gonna add some holiday rhinestones today, so maybe you guys can help me with that a little bit, because I think it needs just one more little thing. But I really like how the little gold stars turned out, and they kind of highlight the three little ornaments that are dangling down here. And you can see the little paper strips in the background, and they're very tone on this background, and I kind of like that. They just add a little bit of little dimension to the background, but I didn't go all out and use a very contrasting color. I wanted the focus to be on here, and it definitely is. So let me show you how I did this. There's a little trick to doing the stamping so it comes out nicely, and I want to show you how I did that. Okay, so let's start with our main layer, and this layer I cut to 3 1/4 inches by 4 3/4 inches. And we'll start by doing a little marking up of my piece. Grab a pencil. It's always good to have a good ruler. I like my Omni Grip ruler a lot. This is a 12-inch centering Omni Grip ruler. So on the top we have the centering marks, and on the bottom you have your regular starting at 0 up to 12. So this is a really handy ruler, and it's also got these nice little guide marks. So I'm going to mark a line 1 inch down from the top. I'm just using these guidelines. If you have just a regular ruler, just measure down 1 inch, on either side, and then connect it. This is going to be the line. So you can see right here, my little string lines, they're stamped, and I don't want them up above here. I want them to look like they're hanging from the banner. So that's why that little line needs to be there, just kind of as a guide. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to find the center point of my card, and it's 1 5/8 inches over from a side. So you can either measure over 1 5/8, or you can use your centering ruler and have 1 5/8 on either side, and then just give yourself a little mark right in the center. That's going to be, you probably can't see that, but it is there. And that's going to be my guide for how I stamp things. I always try and give myself like the easy button for how to do things so that I can repeat it. If I can't repeat something easily, I don't really like to do it, because then I can't show you how to do it. So this first ornament, I'm going to stamp in Cherry Cobbler, and I'm going to center it in the middle of the card using this little guy, this little pencil mark as a guide. So just ink it up here, and then I'm just kind of eyeballing it so it's kind of center in the from the pencil mark down. Let me show you in a second. Let's see where my pencil mark is. Okay, so you can see it's centered in this area right here. I'm ignoring this top area right here, but I want it centered in this area roughly. And that little centering mark is now behind some ink, but it makes sure that your little ornament is centered. So now we can build all the other ornaments off of that. We can take Evening Evergreen. So our next color. Ink this up, and we want to stamp this fairly close, kind of on that slope coming down. We want it fairly close because we're going to add stars here, so we need room for those stars, and we need room for the strings. And then our last color, all kind of jewel tones, we're going to use Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to just ink that up. And then again, I'm just going to kind of find a spot that makes it look good. So there are the 3 little ornaments. And then the next thing we're going to do is stamp the strings. So here's another little trick. I don't want these lines to go up above here, because otherwise some of them will be up above and some of them will be below. They won't go all the way up. So I don't want them to stop kind of in a strange spot. So I'll just take a little post-it note and I'm going to put it right along that pencil line. And now everything that is stamped above there will hit my post-it note rather than this upper part. And some of you may know this technique. It's called masking. So I'm just masking off this area so it doesn't have any ink on it. So I'm using Smoky Slate now, and I've got my string on an, I think this is an H block. Yes, it is. All right, and I'm just going to hover this over and then stamp it and do the same for this one. Oh, and one little tip for this stamp. This is a very spindly little tiny stamp, so you don't want to smush it too hard. You don't want to smush it into the ink pad. I'm lightly tapping on here, like tap, 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 tap. And then I'm coming over here, and when I stamp it, I am using a very light touch because it is spindly. Okay, so then I'll peel that off and look. Now all the things line up right on my pencil mark perfectly. So after I stamped these ornaments, I found that they looked fine, but I wanted them to have a little bit more color to them. So I colored a little bit with my Stampin' Blends. I've got my Cherry Cobbler, Evening Evergreen, and Misty Moonlight, all in the light variety. And I'm just going to come in and highlight the ornaments just a little bit in the wide open white spaces. It's just going to give the ornaments just a little bit more color. It's going to make them a little bolder. You don't have to do this, but it just, I think it just adds just a little bit to the ornaments. And it doesn't take long. You're not coloring the whole ornament. You're leaving some of the spaces white, like that. And all of these jewel tones are, we have a matching color. So it works out really, really well. And you know how I chose my colors? It was pretty easy, actually. I wanted jewel tone colors, and where did my paper go? So I'm using the Tidings of Christmas 6x6 paper. This paper is in the annual catalog, which is great because you know that it's going to be available for a while longer. And the colors I used here, Cherry Cobbler, Evening Evergreen, Misty Moonlight, they are all colors in this paper. So I knew that this background paper, if you look carefully, here on the side you can see Misty Moonlight, you can see little hints of Cherry Cobbler, and of course the background colors Evening Evergreen. So that's a lot of times how I pick my colors right from the paper. If I'm going to use paper, it just makes my life a whole lot easier, and the paper color combos are usually great. So that is just, you know, kind of a no-brainer thing for me. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to create this banner up top here. So I'll take a little piece of Evening Evergreen, and I've cut this one, I think I cut it to 4 inches or 4 1/4. I'm going to cut it off afterwards, so let's have a look. Yeah, I cut it to 4 1/4 by 1/2 inch, and my little, where did it go? Oh, it's hiding behind my computer. Here we go. So I've got my banners Pick-a-Punch, and I'm just going to slide it right in the 1/2 inch slot, and I'll do a little banner punch right there. And then I'll come in with my Versamark. I did have this originally stamped in white. I think I still have it in my garbage can. But you know, if you do white on white, it's too bland. So I needed it to stand out, but I didn't want it to stand out in a overwhelming sort of way. So I just did white embossing on that banner. So let me show you how I did that. So I've got my banner here, I've got my greeting here, my embossing powder here. So I'm gonna ink up my greeting in Versamark. Tap, 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 tap. And then I'll just kind of stamp. I want to stamp close to the little banner end. Lift off. And let me close up my Versamark. I've dumped my white embossing powder into a little container because I use it a lot. And then I'll just sprinkle the embossing powder over top, and I can tap off right into my container. I need a little bit more on the end right there. Okay. And then just give it a little flip. And it just makes my life a lot easier and faster if I'm going to be doing embossing. And then bring over my heat tool. Okay, and then I'm just going to melt the embossing powder. Just takes a second to heat up. And you'll notice that the embossing powder is melting and it's turning white. All right. So now I just need an eraser. Where'd it go? There it is. All right, and I'm just gonna erase this line up top here. It's kind of good. Make sure you don't have any black on your eraser because sometimes that can transfer to your cardstock. Sometimes I erase a little bit on my desktop so it doesn't transfer. A good weight eraser is huge for erasing those pencil marks, and I especially want it gone from here. So I'm just going to leave that for a moment, and we're going to add that probably closer to the end. Okay, so now let's go ahead and grab some gold foil sheet and the punch. And I have a little tiny end right here, and I don't need this big star. So I think I'm just gonna piece the 3 stars on here. I need 1, 2, 3, these 3. And I won't use this one this time, but I can set this aside in case I need an extra star later. And then I need that one as well. I love, oops, sorry. I love gold foiled sheet. I've been using it a lot lately. I used it as a reflector for my tea light holders, and just this time of year, nice little accents for cards. And I have my mini dimensionals here somewhere. And so I'll use a mini dimensional on each of these. They want to stick together. Okay. So this one kind of want over here. This one. Oh. This one is going to go down here at the bottom. Everything's sticking to me. Okay. Just want to make sure that they're not like lined up. I want everything to look a little askew. And then this little tiny one is going to be up top here. I really like this star for some reason, the little 4-point star. I wouldn't have thought that I like a 4-point star so much, but it's actually kind of a different look. So there are my little star pieces, and then we'll put together our card base. And I need 3 little pieces of the Tidings of Christmas paper. You can see the colors that match the stamp colors there once more. These 3 strips are 4 inches by 1 inch. And then my card base, I'm doing a tent fold. and it is 11 inches by 4¼ inches and scored in half at the 5½ inch mark. And oh, again, I want to make sure that first one is centered. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to measure 2¾ inches from one end, and I'm actually using my centering ruler. And I'm just going to make a little mark. I can barely see it. And I'll take my first strip. And I want to add that. I'm going to use my little centering mark. You can't see it because it's dark cardstock, but I can. And I just want to add that right along the centering mark so I know that I'm hitting that as center. And then I want to add this greeting so that it's over top of here. So I just kind of, what I'm gonna do, haha, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look where it's kind of centered here, and I'm gonna make myself a pencil mark right there. All right, so now I know where to put the next strip, because I want the strip centered. I know I think the original card didn't have everything centered quite as nicely. Oh, there it is. But I kind of want the centered look, like the strips are symmetrical. And then I think I can eyeball this distance down here at the bottom. I don't think I need to put myself a mark there anymore. So I'll just kind of look, okay, this one, it's about 1/2 inch, maybe 5/8 of an inch. All right, so next I'm gonna add this piece on here. Just use a light bit of Tombow. It's a really, really light bead. I don't know if you can see that. I just use like a really little bit because this is a very light layer. And I want to center it on my pieces of paper. Okay. And then this little piece right here, it's going to not go all the way off the end. It's going to be about there. Okay, so we'll just put Tombow partway on here. Okay, and lay that down. Make sure it looks straight, and then this little piece on this side we can just use and just give it a little trim off the edge, because it will depend on where you place your greeting and everything, where your end is going to be. You might need to adjust that. So that's why I didn't give you an exact measurement for that. You can just, it's very easy to trim off a 1/2 inch end without being crooked. All right, so the last thing I thought we could do, and I didn't do it in my photo, but I thought some holiday rhinestone basic jewels would look nice on here. So let's pull these out and let's see if I can add a few of these to here. I have a hard time sometimes deciding where to put my little jewels. So okay, let's see. I'm trying to use up ones that are loose first before I go on to my piece. So let's have a look. I think I definitely want a blue one. Let's put one down here. I'm not going to press it down yet. So I'm kind of just like not totally committing to the plan yet. And then maybe I'll do like a medium green one right here. Fun. Okay, that makes me happy. And how about one right there? Why don't I take, I'll do, seeing as I'm doing all the ornament colors, let me do one of the small red ones up here. Like that. that looks good, huh? All right, I'm ready to push down. Okay, let's repeat. We'll do this blue one down here. And then we'll take a medium green one. We'll put it here. And then we'll take a small red one and add it about there. All right, I think that just adds a little bit of extra bling. We've got, what do you think? Do you think it's good to add a little bit more? So now we've got the ornaments that are stamped and colored. We've got our little gold stars, and now we have a few little dots of rhinestone delight. The only other thing that we could still do, and I'm not even sure that it's necessary, but if we wanted to, we could like add like a little bow up top there near Celebrate the Wonder, but I don't know, it might overpower the card. So I think I'm happy with just adding some bling today and not adding extra ribbon. But I think maybe if my greeting were a little bit shorter, like having a little bit of a ribbon up top there might work nicely for the look of the card. But I like it. So what do you think? It's got some shimmer and shine, and I think it looks kind of cute. All right, I'm coming over to talk to you guys. See how you're doing. See, it's almost Thanksgiving, right? It's crazy. November has gone by so quickly, and I'm not even really prepared. So, what are your Thanksgiving plans? For Thanksgiving, we are going, we're staying here, just my husband and I, and Whole Foods is cooking for us. Tomorrow I am going to Whole Foods. I've ordered a turkey dinner for 4 people because that's the smallest quantity they had. And I'm going to pick it up, and it will probably last us 3 days because dinner for 4, it always, that's like, I think it's usually 4 big helpings. I cannot eat that much. Neither can my husband, because you just feel, well, this is my personal opinion, but I don't like to feel full because then I just feel icky. So I just kind of have like this thing of this is how much I'm going to eat, and then that's it. I don't go for a second helping because I just don't like it. So that meal is going to last for three days, and we already celebrated Canadian Thanksgiving with our son in October, so it's kind of like double Thanksgiving for us this year, so it's a little crazy, but it's good. So before I talk to you guys, I just want to make sure you know my host code for the month. If you need to order, there it is. You get rewarded if you spend at least $15 with me. You'll get one of my tutorials. If you spend at least $50 with me, you're getting my host code gift of the month, and it has, oh, there it is. I keep moving it around into the room, but it is a sampler pack of glimmer paper, all different colors of glimmer paper, and each pack is different. So I could show you this pack, but every pack is going to be different that gets sent out. So that is for spending $50, and that will be mailed out in December for everyone. So thank you always for everyone who orders from me. I really appreciate that. And all the supplies I used today are listed on my blog, and I'm going to also add them to the bottom of my video, but I haven't done that yet, so I need to do that after I get off here. All right, let's have a look who's here this morning. Good morning, Karen. Oh, and thank you for the birthday wishes. Good morning, Janine. Good morning, Dee. Good morning, Cindy. Cindy says she'll use her Stamparatus to help her. That's a really good idea, especially, so for me, when I'm stamping a single card like this, I will not pull out my Stamparatus, but if I was going to do this card 50 times over, you can bet I would get my Stamparatus involved, because I wouldn't want to be doing all of the measuring every single time. But you know what? This card is not a hard card once you've got like all the dimensions right. And look at, I love how it sparkles. I'm actually kind of proud of myself because I made this card this morning, and designed it this morning. And I normally don't do that. I don't like to do that, but I just sometimes at night, if I don't get to it during the day, I'm not as creative at night as I am in the morning. So I probably should do all my creative work in the morning. So anyway, let's have a look here. Okay. Good morning, Ellie. Snow is only 50 miles away. Oh, don't say it isn't so. We don't want snow in November. I know some people like snow for Christmas. Um, when the snow falls, all I think is I have to shovel it. So that's I like the look of snow though. I have to admit I do like the look of snow. I just don't like the hassle of snow. It okay, it can snow for Christmas just as long as it doesn't snow while we're driving there and back from Christmas. That will be the key. Janine says she really likes this card. It's just excellent. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Karen really loves the card too. May have to consider getting the set now. You know what? This is a sleeper set in my opinion. Like the Star Punch, I kind of resisted getting it. I'm like, why do I need this? But then I was looking at the catalog and I was looked at all the different types of stars and I'm like, I think I need this. And then I looked at the stamp set and I'm like, yeah, I think I need both of them. And I know I think the stamp set will not be carrying over. So if you want both of them, get the bundle because otherwise you will have a hard time getting that stamp set in the future. Good morning, Elizabeth from Australia. Oh, it's 2:45 in the morning there. Oh my goodness. That is way too early to be up. Wow. Well, I'm sorry if you're up and you're not if you can't sleep, that always sucks a lot when you can't fall asleep. Thank you, everyone. Everyone's loving the card, loving the ornaments on the card. Karen says she hates the full feeling of the turkey dinner. I know, it's just, they always say your eyes are bigger than your stomach, right? You go fill up the plate, oh, the stuffing and the mashed potatoes and the gravy. I'm a real gravy girl because my parents were German, and gravy I think is just like such a key component in that genre of cooking. So my mom used to make dumplings. She used to make dumplings and kind of like you would have potatoes. They were like white dumplings, and like you just kind of cut them into pieces and put gravy over top of them. They were so good. I haven't made dumplings like in years and years and years, but they're really, really good. Okay, I digress. Good morning, Betty. I'm glad you're here, even though you joined us late, and thank you for the birthday wishes and the congratulations on my number 49. Thank you. Ellie says she's going over to her son's house in Connecticut. Very nice. And Betty watches her portion sizes on Thanksgiving too. No seconds, yes, no icky feeling. I know, you want to eat and then it's like just too much all of a sudden. And I also like dessert, so if I have seconds of the main dish, then I won't be able to have dessert. And guess what? I baked a carrot cake on Sunday for my birthday. I know, I birthday cake. I have gotten to the point now where I really have good recipes for things that I like, and I love my carrot cake recipe. And so that's what I wanted for my birthday. And my husband wanted to get me a cake, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'll just bake my own cake. And he's like, okay. He knows enough not to argue with me. And so I baked a cake, and so now we have this big carrot cake that's sitting in the fridge. And so I want room for my carrot cake for dessert. It's gonna last the whole week because it's that big. So anyway, I'm keeping on going, reading the comments. Good morning, Erica. I'm glad you love the card. Good morning, April. And Betty says carrot cake sounds good. I know. Carrot cake is good. It's just so good. Maybe some people don't like it, but that's probably one of my favorite kinds of cake. There is one other cake that I really love, but we can't get it right in town here. Do any of you have a fresh market in town? I really like their Sinfully White cake. It's just a white cake with kind of a cream cheese type frosting, but not like overly done. Like it's not like really, really thick or something. And then it's kind of got these little white chocolate, like not candy pieces. I don't even know how to pronounce the name, but just kind of on the outside. And their Sinfully White cake is so, so good. I love that as well. But you have to drive an hour away to get it here. And I can't get that. Fresh Market doesn't deliver in my area, so we couldn't get that cake. So carrot cake is a good cake if you have a good recipe. All right. I am digressing, and you guys probably need to get your day going, and I'm so thankful that you joined me today. I will be dropping a video tomorrow. It won't be a live video. I know that so many of you are already going to be traveling and moving around because I will not be doing my usual Friday live. So I'm going to drop a video tomorrow on my blog, and it will be sent to your inboxes if you're part of my email list. And then that will be a project sheet that will be sent out on Saturday as well. So you'll get a 3D video. It just won't be at its regular time because I know so many of you are going to be gone anyway and won't be able to join me for my live. So I'm going to do it as a standalone video, a non-live video, and so you will see that later. And then next week I will be back at my regular schedule, Tuesdays and Fridays, just not for the Thanksgiving weekend. So I know I have people that are in other parts of the world. This week is Thanksgiving here in the US, so we're gonna I'm just gonna take a break this Friday, but you'll still get your video. So there you go. Well, have a wonderful Thanksgiving, everyone, and I will see you back here next week. Take care until then. Drive safely if you're driving. Bye-bye.